Hello, parents and guardians. My name is Megan Terrano, and I am your child's 2020-2021 school year teacher. I will be their language arts and math teacher for this year, and I will also be going with them to science in Mrs. Brandon's class and social studies in Mrs. Paul's class. So just to tell you a little bit about me, my name is Mrs. Terrano, like I said. This is my 9th year of teaching and my 8th year at the UES. This is my 8th year of teaching with Mrs. Brandon in science and my 5th year of teaching with Mrs. Paul in social studies. So we have a pretty good routine going together now. I'm a alumni of Saraville. I graduated in 2003. The kids also really like to hear that I went to Arlith. It was a little bit of a competition to see which elementary school I went to, so they were very excited about that. I am a lover of all things Disney and Harry Potter. I've been married for 9 years, and I have a 4-year-old son named Joey. There they are. So this year's a little bit different. I know, usually we'd be doing this in my classroom and just having a nice night together. But just to give you a little background on just some virtual learning expectations. So they should be logging on to Mrs. Paul's homeroom by 8:30 every day, the latest. We usually get on there between 8:15 and we're usually on there by 8:15, and the kids slowly start to come on. So by 8:30 is when we really start homeroom and morning meeting. They have to come to class prepared with all their necessary materials. They've been pretty good about this, but there's been oh, wait, hold on, I got to go get my agenda, or wait, I had to go get a pencil. So if they could just have an area with all of their stuff that they're at every day, then they don't have to worry about going back and forth. But they should have an agenda, sharpened pencil, math workbook with completed homework, and a math notebook, because we do take notes in math every day. Language arts, I have a lot of Google Slides for them, so they don't need a notebook for that. Including writing, it's all on a Google slide for them this year. They do have to participate in class discussions. So while they don't have to have their camera on, I do cold call on people just to make sure that they are paying attention. So there's been a few instances where I've called on somebody and they haven't answered, so I know that they're either scrolling around the internet or they're not there or something like that. For the most part, if they have to go to the bathroom and stuff, they are good about asking me and letting me know that they have to go. But they do have to participate in class discussions just in order to get credit for the day. If they're having a technical issue during a Google Meet session or weak internet, just have them exit and try to rejoin. 90% of the time that's made a difference. I can try to help as best as I can, but I can't really stop the lesson in the middle of it to help them with their technical issues, just because then I have all my other students that are trying to keep up with the lesson. If you need any more assistance with a particular lesson, they can come onto the office hours. I'm on every day from 1:45 to 2:45. I send out reminders on my Google Classroom to them every day. If you, for any reason, want to meet with me during office hours, that's fine. There is a sign-up sheet on my on-course website. You just have to click the link and sign up, and I'll get an email that you requested a time slot. They do have to try their best at all times. Always try something, no matter what. Even if you're wrong, who cares? That's what I tell them all the time. If you're wrong, who cares? What's the worst that can happen? But that's how we learn, is to make mistakes. So I don't want them to just sit there and not try anything. I always tell them, try something. And if you can, try not to do every single problem for them, because they have to learn. So, and they have to follow the school rules, including the SAMHSA Upper Elementary virtual expectations, which are these. SAMHSA Upper Elementary virtual expectations: be respectful, keep your microphone muted until directed to unmute, be present and mindful of others while participating, even if your camera is off. So still pay attention, still be a part of the group, still be a part of the class. Follow teacher directions throughout the day. Behavior should be school appropriate at all times. Dress appropriately for school. For the most part, they do. So, and use chat feature to avoid talking over others, but only for class-related questions or comments. I've had to have a couple of discussions with some students already, just because they use the chat as they're I'll be teaching and then I'll see the chat going off. So I've had to have a few conversations with some students to just leave the chat alone. So if you can just reiterate that with them too. Be responsible. Log in at 8:15 and be ready to learn by 8:30. Like I said, Mrs. Paul's, we start homeroom by 8:30. Um, Stay online from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. except during your lunch break. Attend specials in Spanish. Find a place in your home that is free from distractions. Use the bathroom before school starts and during breaks. If they do ask me to use the bathroom, for the most part, I will let them go. If we're about to come up on a break, I'll ask them to just wait until we go on break, or if they can just wait until we're done with this one part of the problem or something. Oops. But for the most part, they do pretty good. Take advantage of teacher office hours from 1:45 to 2:45, especially with math. Like, we're learning new things and new concepts, and I really want them to come on if they're having difficulty, not like they're being punished or something like that. Like, I want to be able to help them as much as I can. Be safe, sit up straight, and don't rock backwards in your chair. You're encouraged to show your camera and must participate in each class. If there's something that we're doing that I really need to be able to see them, then I'll ask them to turn their cameras on. But I mean, for the most part, as long as I know that they're paying attention and they're participating in class, then I'm not going to ask them to turn their camera on. But if I haven't heard from them in a while, or I cold call on them and they don't answer, and I give them a minute or two and they still don't answer, then I might ask them to turn their cameras on just so I know that they're there. Use a virtual background or a trifold poster board to hide your background if you wanted to, so they could put something up like behind them if they wanted. Wear sneakers for physical education class. Keep cell phones off and away during school hours. Oops. Oh no, I'm going backwards. And no recording of any class activities by students and or parents at all. Okay, so our schedule, this is just for virtual learning. We figured it was easier for the students, instead of having to come back on after specials for like one more period, we switched lunch and eighth period for them. So we just kind of go all morning and then they go to specials and then they're done, except for every other Monday when they have Spanish eighth period. But for the most part, they're basically done after Spanish. So they're basically done after specials. So they're done by 12:30. So first we have homeroom and morning meeting from 8:30 to 8:50. First period, we'll either have social studies, language arts, or Spanish if it's a week A. This week was a week B, so we had to come back eighth period, but next week will be a week A, just in case you want to keep track of it. Then we have language arts, the next two periods. Then I give them a little bit of a morning, like a quick little break here and there, just so they can go to the bathroom, get a snack. Then we have math, fourth and fifth period. And then sixth period, we have science. We go on ST math. Or if it's a week B for Spanish, they have lunch at this time. Then we have a little bit of a break before they have to go to specials. Then they have Spanish. Then they have specials. This trimester, they have gym and art. Day 1 is gym. Day 2 is art. And then if it's a week B, then they come back for Spanish. But that's every other Monday. And then again, my office hours are 1:45 to 2:45. Like I said, this is just for virtual learning. Spanish is on Mondays. Trimester 2, we will have music and gym. And trimester 3, we will have technology and gym. Class rules: follow the Sam Slupper Elementary School virtual expectations. Be respectful, and be safe. I use a lot of positive reinforcement throughout the day. It's like a party up in here all the time. 3 strikes, you're out. This is more for when we return to school, but also to keep in mind when your children aren't completing their homework. Students will receive a strike for various instances, such as not following under expectations, disrespect toward their teachers, staff, and their peers, missing assignments after the second day. Each strike is 5 minutes off of a monthly activity. So since this isn't really going on right now, the strike system is we're not following it right now, but this is more for when we return to school. Our curriculum: math. Every day we start with rocket math to practice our multiplication facts. I usually do it on paper when we are in school, but however, since we're not in school, I found that they have a online program for you to use. So it's basically like a 5-minute drill session with multiplication facts every day. I just want to make sure that they remember their facts and that they need them for this year. So hopefully that keeps everything in their heads a little bit easier. And then we're also continuing to use Envision 2020. Reading, currently right now, we're working on notice and note strategies while reading various forms of text. So we read fiction and nonfiction, and then we find the signposts while we're reading. So we usually read a short story, and then we'll watch a Pixar short to see if we can find those moments while in the book and in the short. And then we'll also read 2 novels this year, Wonder and Number of the Stars. We're probably going to start Wonder within the next couple of weeks, and then Number of the Stars is usually in the spring. Writing, writer's workshop, including personal narrative, which we are just starting now, opinion and informative writing, as well as answering open-ended questions and various journal prompts. Science, next generation science standards using New Jersey Center for Teaching and Learning Units, including properties of matter, which is what we're doing now, energy and organisms, ecosystem dynamics, earth systems, human impacts, forces, earth, and the universe. And social studies, we're creating interactive notebooks while studying events from the American Revolution to the Civil War. So we are creating a digital interactive notebook this year. They've been doing really well with importing all their slides. So we're going to just do it that way. Homework policy. So I don't really have that many assignments every day. I don't really want them to be on the computer any more than they have to be because they had just spent all morning on the computer. The only thing that I do want them to be on the computer for is to read 10 minutes per night on Epic Books. This is just it's a website that they can use to read. There's a ton of books on there, and it's all based on their level and it's like going to a library, but a digital library. But it tells me how long they've read for, what they read, if they just opened up a book and shut it and closed it down. They're reading, and I'm able to see what they're reading and how much of it that they are reading. And encourage them to read every day. Ask them questions about what they read, what they are reading, what they found interesting, why they chose that book. Just question them, because then it'll only make them want to read more. Math, practice math workbook pages align with the lesson from that day. It's the smaller workbook of the 2 that you got from the school. Students can either show it to me on the screen, they can hold it up like that, or you can email me a picture of the completed assignment, whatever is easier, but all work must be shown. So they can't just put the answer there. I want to be able to see their work too. Science, there's not going to really be a whole lot of science homework or really social studies work. The science work is basically just going to be if they didn't finish their classwork from that day, but it'll be like a Google form. There'll be no homework over the weekend. If a student is missing an assignment, I know everybody has things that they have to do. So I give 1 extra day for half credit, but then after that second day, if they don't have it, then it's a 0. And please, I have them write down their homework every day in their agendas still. So please make sure that they just check their agendas every day to make sure that they wrote down their homework. Grading, this is the same thing that it's been since they were little guys and girls. NS is needs support, AS is approaching standard, MS is meet standard, and ES is exceed standard. Like I said, language arts, we do a little bit of project read. We do bi-weekly spelling words, daily grammar morning work, Achieve 3000, writer's workshop, and our 2 novels, Wonder and Number of the Stars. For math, we're currently finishing up place value. We'll also be working on multiplication, division, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, decimals and fractions, patterns and expressions, graphing, measurement, geometry, volume, and like I said, rocket math, multiplication, and division each day. These are some of the online materials that we use. So if you're asking what we're doing, what website they're on, these are usually the ones that we use. Epic Books, like I said, that's the reading log website that they will use. Brain Pop, Achieve 3000 is like a reading program. ST Math, Discovery Education, Google Classroom. Linkit is where they take some assessments. Quizlet is a lot of flashcards that I assign for science, and IXL. Supplies for your child can be picked up at school if you have not done so already. Just call the front office and let them know you are coming. Your child has been given math workbooks, SUES folder, agenda pad, Wonder, and a notebook. Please help make sure your child has a designated workspace that has all these supplies nearby, as well as a sharpened pencil or two for the day. And if you need anything, here's my contact information, megan.terrano@cerebralk12.net. I'm not really going to be able to check my voicemail right now, but that's my phone number for when we go back to school. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. And I'm really looking forward to teaching your children this year. Have a good day.